Welcome to the Curry Gumbo Podcast with Nicole and Ashley, and today we have a new movie to review. Stay tuned. Barbarian came out last year, 2022, starring Georgina Campbell. Also, Bill Skarsgård. I did not know nothing about this Skarsgård family until we did the Atlanta. I swear,
But
every time these people keep coming up.
And we watched
Girl, I don't be knowing who these people.
We watched Passing, and you saw his older brother. And you may not have seen the new It movie, but Bill Skarsgård plays the clown. He looks
scary.
He plays It.
Anyway. His look.
And that's what they were counting on. Because we know he's It. And so when I saw the previews, I was like, "Oh, he back. He the one. He trying to get her. I don't trust this.
I didn't trust the movie.
I don't trust him."
Okay.
But child.
So the movie is about this girl Tess books this Airbnb in Detroit, in the worst neighborhood in Detroit. All the houses are run down except for this house. For whatever reason, it's able to be occupied. But whatever. So she gets to the Airbnb, and there's a guy in there because apparently the Airbnb is double booked. And so...
Well, hold on. But what do we hear? Because we hear the rain. We also hear like moaning and groaning and screams.
Yeah, it's weird.
And we're like, ain't shit happened yet. Like, what's going on? So we immediately know, one, from the previews, but also, two, we know like not to trust that house at all. But that's a part of the dramatic irony. Like, we know something that she does not, even though she's supposed to know. Yes, because she is a Black woman and she should be listening to her body, right? You have to walk into a space and know I am not safe here.
Could she not get a refund just based off the double booking?
She couldn't get in touch with the people.
So she gets to this Airbnb. It's already occupied by Keith because he booked it, and he shows her the information. He's like, "Oh, I booked this too, so it's double booked." I watched this same plot in a rom-com on Netflix called Love in the Villa. Same, except this is in Italy. Another biracial Black girl, Kat Graham, is in Italy, and she books this Airbnb, and she gets there, and this white guy is there because he had booked it too, and they end up having to stay in the villa, but that ends up being a rom-com, and this is a scary movie. So I was like, this, yeah.
Tess thought it was gonna be a rom-com.
Yeah, they get along.
Starts to kind of like
they get along. And they start getting to know each other. And she agrees to stay there. She kind of really doesn't have an option. She was going to sleep in her car, but it's like it's raining, it's late. And then Keith was like, not in this neighborhood. I'm like, so you chose to book an Airbnb in a bad neighborhood? Since you know not in this neighborhood. But okay.
Yeah. But that's one of the reasons why I was like, I don't trust him. What's going on? I don't like it. And who is Marcus and why he keep calling? Marcus sound like a Black name. Had you answer the phone, it might have been safe.
So anyway. Tess ends up sleeping in the bedroom. Keith is sleeping on the couch. They go to sleep. The house apparently is haunted because the door keeps opening. The bedroom door keeps opening. Other doors just keep opening. Keith is on the couch. He's having night terrors. And then Tess goes over there to wake him up. I'm like, girl, who wakes up a person during a night terror?
Well, she's worried because the door open and she knows she locked it. The film is very, what I like is that she's doing everything you're supposed to do, you know, except she does stay there, because I talked with my friend Jari about this, and we were all like, nah, man, you know, nah. Like, because I was like, just drive back to the airport. Just sleep in the airport. Like, you cannot stay there. I don't give a fuck how nice he is. If all, because there's a convention in town, all the hotels are booked, even though I
Yeah.
only heard just call two or one. It's like, I need for you to do something. You're not gonna sleep in your car. You're not gonna, but she's saying, I'm staying here.
Oh
Everywhere
yeah,
I
to the
go, I'm
bathroom.
locking
She locked
the
the
door.
door.
I'm yes, I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking a picture of his ID. I am not, I'm not gonna drink wine
Yeah.
with him because I don't know him, you know. Um, she's doing everything right, you know, and so the door opens. She knows she locked it. So hell yeah, I'm gonna wake you up and be like, what happened? Who's here? Who else is here? Did you open up my? But my thing is, like, if he opened up your door, he ain't gonna tell you, you know. But so yeah, she goes back, and now it's in the morning.
It's in the morning.
She
She
gotta go
goes
on
on
her
this
job
job
interview.
interview. Apparently, it's not that important because we don't hear the interview. We just hear at the end where the person interviewing her
None
asks
of
her,
it.
"Oh, where are you staying?" And she tells
None of it.
her the Airbnb in this neighborhood. The girl was like, "Oh no, you can't stay there." And so
You shouldn't be there.
Tessa's like, I guess. And then this is when she drives back, we see that the whole neighborhood is abandoned, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. And she, before the interview, she's looking at the pictures in her phone, and she comes across the picture of Keith's ID, and she smiles. And I'm like, oh, now it's official. We know she likes him. That's another reason why she doesn't want to leave the Airbnb. I have this roommate, and if I leave, it might be weird to ask for his number, but if I stay there a little bit, like, I got more FaceTime with him if I go back to this Airbnb. And that was your
Hmm.
mistake. Because you should have gotten, when that girl said you not supposed to be there, you should have got in your motherfucker. But again, where is Tessa's mama? Where is her best friend? Y'all do this. Y'all put these black people in these movies, these black women
Nope.
in these movies, don't give them no friends. Because what a real motherfucker black woman would have done, not, let me not say real, that's horrible. Well, I mean, Tessa's not a real person, but I feel like she
Well,
would
I
have
can see.
went
Well,
down there
not
with a friend.
if it's a job, if she's only
She would have
going there
booked.
for the job interview, which I was kind of.
You would stay in an Airbnb by yourself in a town
I'm
that you
like, did
know
she
is not the
know it wasn't
safest.
safe when she booked it, or when she found out?
If you don't know that about Detroit,
Like, I'm
if
trying to figure out how.
honey, she
So
knows
she
about Detroit.
knows where
She's
she
been
was staying
studying
then.
Detroit. I don't think she knows where she was staying, but I think everybody knows about the housing crisis
There's
in
some
Detroit.
good,
So you know that
yeah,
a lot of
but
these houses are abandoned. But what you don't know is that, oh, it
yes.
looked like this is out of a war scene. Like, these houses look really,
Like,
this looks like a forgotten
how much
neighborhood.
was the Airbnb?
Why
I
is
wanted
an
to know the
Airbnb
price.
here?
Was it free?
And you know what? Also, child, I was like, she's really in a pickle
So she
because
probably,
she's on a job interview. Do we know if she
yeah,
has a job? Like, money might be tight. So she's like, dang, like, that's, and because if she goes back to the airport, it's like, I'm not
no,
about to catch a flight home. And if I go to the airports are like out of the way. So it's like, dang, I ain't got enough gas money to get, I don't know, she might, money, things might not be that tight, but I can see it in her head like, oh, what is the best thing to do? I want to make sure that I have a place where I can take a shower so I can arrive to this job interview and present my best self, you know? So,
She gets back. She's well, this strange man is like running towards her, and she has to hurry up and get in the house. Which I was like, why don't you just get in the car and drive away? But maybe the house, she was trying to get her stuff and then leave.
what was unfortunate is that he's calling her a girl and he is saying, get out that house. Get out that house. So, not like, the house is dangerous. Please, you're not safe. So, who would have believed him?
Well, there's all these
Who
different
would have?
signs that this neighborhood and this house is not good. Because then she calls the police and they say they don't go to the neighborhood. So you're not even safe.
The gaslighting. The gaslighting that the operator's like, ma'am, calm down. I have just told you that a man has chased me into the place that I'm living for a few days. And y'all don't, okay. The gaslighting in this entire film with this black woman is like, because all people had to do was listen to her ass and everybody would be all right.
So then she needs toilet paper. She sees there's toilet paper in the basement. She goes to the basement, and then because doors just magically close in this house, the door magically closed and it's stuck. And this basement is huge. There's lots of different, everything's in this basement, but there's no tools to unstuck the door. And so she's looking for things. She comes across some weirdness. There's all these, also these trap doors and stairs and more stairs, and it's like the basement at this point bigger than the house. I'm like, how? But then she realizes she has the key. There's only one key to the house, and Keith is still out. And so Keith comes home, and he's trying to get in the house, and there's a window in the basement, and she's calling for him, and he sees her, and she's like, I'm stuck in the basement, and he kind of helps her out, and she's saved. And then she tells him, listen, there's some weirdness going on in this basement. There's trap doors and dungeons and more stairs. And he's like, let me go see. And she's like,
Dragons.
no. And he's like, what? It's not that bad. Let me just go see. So Keith goes in the basement. And then,
Well, and I also think before we even get like Keith going into the basement,
oh,
which the
yes,
room that she sees
it looks
has a single
dirty.
bed, no sheets, it's just a mattress, a camcorder pointed towards the bed. And I think seeing that in this, because it's like,
No,
we're not making
no.
porns here. This isn't a porno flick. Because there would be like there would be some decorations. You would dress that room in order for that to be the case. Because that might have made her feel like, ugh, they were doing all that down here. But it wouldn't have frightened her. And I think we know that there are cues that you get to say like, oh, this whoever was in this room was more than likely here against their will, or once they got here, they regretted it. And I think what sealed that for her was the bloody handprint she saw on the wall. So it's like, that's it. That's all I need to see. Let's get the fuck out of here.
And Keith wants to go see for himself. And then this is when Keith finds another trap door and more stairs. Again, the basement is bigger than the house. And I'm like, this is a fantasy movie now, because there's just stairs and stairs and stairs and more dungeons and weirdness. And Keith, like, I don't know, is trapped in another dimension, whatever. And so this is the point where I had to stop because I'm like, I know a monster's coming. I found out what happened later. I had someone tell me what happened.
So here's the issue that I have with Keith. If I appear scared, if I am Tess and if I appear frightened, and if I want us to leave this house, even though you and I are not super close, what what is wrong with believing me? Well, like what once you saw the
Yes.
room with the camera, I
Why are
know
you
you
still
saw the room with the
exploring?
camera, right? And then there's another door. There's another door with some like stone
Nope.
steps that Tess never approached. So you saw the room, saw the stairs,
Exactly.
and
And
said,
then
I'm going to go down there. Then there was a gate. There after the stairs, there was like another wooden door, then a wire gate. I'm like, sir, you went through all of these barriers
then
before
he
you
got
turned around and ran.
no,
All you had to do was look at the
but then he
room
got
and
himself
see,
stuck
oh, she
calling for
wasn't
Tess,
lying.
talking about come save him. And I'm like, no, Tess, you don't have to. You don't have to save him. You do not have to save him.
Call the police. Be like, hey, he's stuck down there. I don't know where he at. I'm scared to go down there. There's
Nope,
there's
they're
a
not
man
coming
in
to that
danger. Now maybe they
neighborhood.
wouldn't have come. I don't know. But yeah. So he's on his knees because something has bit him. And she's like, all right, well, let's go. She crying. She doing the whole bit. Keith, why are you down there, Keith? I was like, girl, if you don't shut up all that damn hollering, you sitting up here thinking his ass is cute. That's the only reason why you're wit down there. But you should have answered Marcus's call. Anyway, so she so I believe the film
Mm-hmm.
calls the creature the mother. And she comes, bashes Keith's head, and lets out this monstrous scream. The mother looks like she's 7'5", naked, deformed in ways, and she's frightening. That's it. And then we
He's
cut
the owner
to
of the
AJ.
Airbnb.
Do you know who AJ is?
Mm-hmm.
He's the owner of the Airbnb, and he's driving. And AJ looked like he ain't got a care in the world. We look like we're in LA. He's driving. We see the beach, and he gets this really disturbing phone call saying that a woman is going to be
Mm.
is accusing him of sexual assault, and he is going to have to deal with that. So he's being removed from a project that he's on because he's an actor, and there is a new project coming out, and he's being moved. He ain't gonna be a part of it. Interesting that both of them work in film, and like everybody's kind of like in the arts. But anyway, so he one of his plans is to go to his Detroit home because I think he's just trying to liquidate shit. Like he has to get money, so um he goes to his home, and the reason he finds out about the basement is because he's trying to measure his home because he realizes that the more square footage, the more money he can get for the home. He recognizes that someone is here. Like there's a Tess's car is still outside, so we know Tess is there. Everybody's stuff is still there.
He
So
don't
he's like,
know.
who is squatting in my
He
home?
don't know his.
The Airbnb don't give
He
a
don't know his home
fuck.
is on air
The
for
Airbnb
Airbnb.
ain't. Hmm? He does know that, but he is thinking that no one is there because they're not supposed to be there. They should
Okay.
have left by this point. So, but they're still there. So he's like, oh, they're squatting, but he doesn't see anybody. So he's like, he doesn't know what's going on. But also like, it's like Keith, white man, right? Because
They ain't
shouldn't
calling
we
no
have called
police.
the police? Shouldn't we have tried to do an eviction? But it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, nothing's gonna happen to me. Nothing. I think the only thing he's worried about is his reputation because a woman is accusing him of assaulting her. And we find out that he did indeed assault her. He kind of confesses to a friend, even though I don't believe that he even knows what he did was sexual assault, because he says, well, we did have sex and, well, yeah, she said no at first, but I mean, I kind of had to convince her, but it's not like I was like, come here, let me rape you. It's like that was sexual assault. She said no. And she, like she didn't, the minute she said no, you should have left, you know? Um, so he's out in the house. Well, not out. He's in. He will remain in. And he finds all of these levels to the house. Like he keeps descending and descending and descending until he gets to um the room that the it seems like the mother has made a home in, and it's just this video playing on a loop of a woman breastfeeding a baby, and the mother on the video does this thing where she like drags her finger across the baby's head and stops at the nose and like goes boop, like she does, and so the mother finds him and puts him in a little cage along with Tess. And so we see like, okay, Tess is still alive. He's freaking the fuck out like anyone, and Tess is like, I need you to calm the fuck down, because I think Tess immediately recognizes that this thing wants you to be its baby, because that's all it knows. Not it. It's a she only knows babies. So here's a bottle. Drink from this bottle. And Tess is encouraging him to do it because she understands that you cannot make this person angry. It will not be good for you. So she hands Tess the bottle, and Tess is like drinking from it. I don't know what's in that bottle. Jesus Christ. But he doesn't do it, and so she gets mad, and she comes down and she kind of drags AJ off, because he's not nursing. He's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. So he's with the mother, and then Tess goes. She that's her way to escape. She's busy with him, so let me escape. And but Tess escapes the house with the help of the man
Okay,
who
he
was
comes
like,
back
"Little girl, come on out," so she like breaks
when
through,
in the basement.
the same
Mm-hmm.
window that she used to give Keith the key. That's how she got out. And the guy is like, hey, you can't go back there. She's like, no, she has someone else
Let
in
them
there.
go.
He's like, look, she's she's not the
There's something
worst
else.
thing in there. You need to leave. There's something else. So so she's like, you need to leave here.
No, you don't,
And she's
girl.
like, no, I gotta help him. This is the second white man she want to help. Now you ain't answering Marcus's calls, but this is the second motherfucking white man you want to help, bitch. So she gets the attention of the police. She's tattered. She's been locked prisoner for a week, so she doesn't look the best. They don't believe her. They don't believe her at all. And so they won't
Wow.
investigate the house because it's not her house. And so they just leave. They leave her. So she breaks into the house, gets her keys to her car, drives. When she's in her car, the mother bursts out of the house. She hits the mother with the car. And so the mother goes down for a bit. So she goes back into the dungeon, you know. Now, while she's been away, Keith, most
Listen,
of this
listen,
podcast
I
is going to be
got
me
to the
explaining.
halfway point, and I was just like, I can't.
So, so AJ has been wandering with, his little flashlight. and he finds this room. He goes into the room, and um what and so she is like, the mother is trying to capture him, and so she sees that he's about to go into this room, and she's like, oh, you about to go in there? Like, let me back it on up. Now, what we have seen before this is, we go back to, like, when was Nixon in office? To the 50s. And the
Oh.
neighborhood is just thriving. And the neighborhood is thriving. And so we see the house, and we see the original owner of the house. And he looks kind of creepy. Like, he's a tall, white, kind of gangly man. And the way the lens that's used, it's not like a fishbowl lens, but it's skewed. It looks odd. And the colors look odd. Like, it doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel natural. It just feels off. Something's off. So he's going to the store, and he's like, I need baby stuff. You know, and he's like, I'm about to have a baby at the house. And so the woman is like helping him, um like, with diapers. Here's some wet wipes, here's some plastic sheets. So he gets in his car, and we see him notice a young lady getting into her car, and he follows this young lady, and we're like, okay, like, it starts going off. And he gets back to his house, and so, even on the radio, you can hear the stories are about the economy, and we see the start of the decline of the neighborhood, because his neighbor is like, I am going to be selling my house. Are you going to sell your house? He's like, I'm not going anywhere. And he really doesn't. Like, he stays there. So he goes into his house, and he opens up the door to the basement, and all you hear is screams. Like, screams from it's more than one person down there. So you already know what's happening. Even though, I mean, a lot of the movie, it's told in a nonlinear fashion. You know what's going on. You knew
Yes.
what was going on when you saw that camcorder and that bed. You know what was happening. So AJ has found a door where the original
Since the
owner of the house has been
1950s?
living.
Oh, Lord.
He is still alive. And there are tons of tapes, VHSs, of him harming women. And he's just been watching those over and over again. So, but AJ doesn't, until he watches the video, he's like, are you being held captive here too? Let's leave. Let's leave together. I'm going to get us out of here. What he doesn't know is that, like, you are also, both of y'all are rapists. Both of y'all, like, and so you don't even know. If I saw the mother, first of all, I would faint. But if I saw a person in a room just laying down chilling, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck? How are you not? How come she hasn't done this to you?
Mm-hmm.
What type of villain are you? So the original owner of the house, he has a gun in a cabinet. He shoots himself, and he's like, oh, you've made it down here. You're probably gonna make it out. People are gonna find out about me. It's over. So
She's still there.
Tess is down there looking for AJ. Mm-hmm. Now, she don't know nobody names, so she's just like, hey, he shoots her. Because now he has a gun. AJ shoots Tess because it's an accident. Or so we think. I think it's an accident because you're scared. So it's like, I'm the only thing down here. Like, I'm shooting at anything. So he helps her up, and they leave the house, and so he's like, oh, is that your car? And she's like, yeah, but I hit her with my car and she's gone. the mother is gone now. I don't know where she at. But they walk to this man's house, or the water tower, where the guy who originally warned her and
The
who
basement.
helped her out of the
Mm-hmm.
house, he's there. That's where he lives. And so he just breaks down the entire story for them. And he's like, that's his house. He would keep women there, and he would rape them and have babies with them. He would have babies with the babies with their babies. And so that's all, that inbreeding is what creates the mother monster. The mother monster come kill that black man, looking for her children, who she think is her children. And so they have to run again. Now Tess is shot and she's running. And when the mother comes in and like literally she rips the arm off this black man and beats him with the arm. AJ get up and run. He ain't trying to help out Tess at all. He just get up and run. And so they run to the top of the water tower. And he drops the gun, clumsy motherfucker. And so he's like, all right, well, all I can do is push you off this roof. He pushes Tess off the roof because he's saying, I need to slow her down. The mother jumps out after her to save her because she breaks her fall. So that's the only reason Tess is alive. And so when AJ gets down there, he's like, oh, sorry, you fell, you know. And it kind of parallels the story of the sexual assault, right? Because it's like, this woman said
Mm-hmm.
no, but you completely changed that whole narrative. You made it so it's like, oh, she wanted to have sex. It just took a little convincing. It's like, that's not how this shit went at all. You pushed this girl off this water tower, but you got to change up that narrative because you don't want to be the bad guy here. It's like, no, you pushed her. She didn't fall. You pushed her. Child, the mother still ain't dead. So she killed AJ. She literally picks him up by the face, sticks her fingernail through his eyes, and like rips his head open. And so she goes to Tess, and she's really doting on Tess. She's like, the only words she knows is like ba 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 ba, and then boop. So she's trying to like care for Tess because she sees that Tess has been shot, and she's very upset. And you can tell she's essentially saying to Tess like,
Mm-hmm.
let's go back home.
She thinks Tess is
Tess
her
like, girl, I
daughter.
can't go back there. She thinks both of them are her children.
Tess and Keith.
But you know,
But she killed AJ.
Tess and AJ.
But she killed AJ.
But AJ, huh?
He's a white man.
She killed AJ because
Oh.
AJ tried to hurt Tess. But what I also noticed is that Tess hit her with the car, but she still wants to protect Tess. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's also a maternal thing. Like, a child
Yeah.
can hurt its mother. She's
But
still
don't
going
hurt
to
your
care
sibling.
for that child, Um, don't, cause I'm a beat your ass, So, um, Tess ends up shooting the mother, and then the final scenes are just her walking away, and I was just like, Tess gonna sue that motherfucking city. She
Exactly.
can sue that motherfucking Airbnb company, but who would believe her?
The
Because how would
police would
she
have come to the
prove that?
neighborhood now. But they gonna come to the neighborhood now. Exactly.
Like, there are
Oh,
two
Michelle comes to the
dead white
neighborhood.
bodies out here. Come see. This black woman was
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by white people because I think the assumption is that if Keith was black and and Tess came out that
He would
door
have
saying,
believed her,
I
and they would have
saw
left.
I saw a bed, a
The
camcorder.
movie would have been 30 minutes long.
You see, well, okay, hold on, let me get the movie would have been 15 seconds. Okay? Like, that's it. Because it's literally no one at any point wanted to believe her except that black man who originally tried to save her. Keith doesn't believe her when she's like, we gotta leave.
Go look.
Let's, you know, when they see when Keith has been bitten, she's like, all right, this is the way out. No, we can't go that way. Like, they would have had a fighting chance, right? Because the way out was the way Tess was trying to go. AJ, when she was like, pretend to be her baby. She thinks you're her baby. Drink from the bottle.
Don't listen.
You didn't want to do any of that. You didn't want to do any. So like, basically, you did not. This movie is about white people not listening to this woman.
And what happens when you don't listen to black women?
To black women. And what happens as a result? And also, this black woman not following her better judgment. I think she, like, you knew you shouldn't have been in that house.
What do you do?
But it's also like, what chance, like, what was she supposed to do?
I would have left when I got out from the basement, and I told Keith, I'm like, listen, Keith, there's some weird stuff going in the basement, but I'm gonna go. You could.
But he said, can you, I'm gonna go check it out. Can you stay?
No,
just in case the door closes on me and I get locked down.
But then his ass.
What would you have done?
But he was tricky too, because he's the one that went to the other dimension door. Like, no one told you to go all the way down there.
The other dimension. You know they don't listen. See, I feel like what I would have done, I say all of this, I probably would have done the same thing Tess did. But it's like, I'm going to hold this door, put a chair right here so the door won't close. And you have at it, but I'm leaving.
You got 5 minutes, Keith. 5 minutes.
I don't know what you... I am leaving. No, I'm putting this chair by this door.
I'm opening the window.
So I'm not going with you. Now, what you need to do is call some of your friends. Call a friend. Call a friend. Have them come out here with you. Or you ain't got no friends. That's too damn bad. Let's leave. Let's go to the airport. Let's go. You go back to fucking New York, and I'm gonna go back wherever the fuck I came from. I'm not doing this.
It's too much.
I like the conversation that the film was having about class. You know, I was watching this film with someone, and they were like, "This is unrealistic," and I was like, "I've never been in a situation where I have been visibly homeless, like where you know, where someone looks dirty and they're, you know, they look a little bit disheveled and stuff. I've never been in that situation. I've never had to like count on the police in that way. So I can see someone not taking a person seriously,
and
if they
especially
don't look
from the neighborhood that they're in. It's like they're like, oh, she's probably a crackhead or something.
Yeah, she's probably high. She's probably on something. I'm not believing this. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with another film and more opinions. Leave a review and tell us what you'd like for us to watch. And let's keep the convo going on Instagram. You can find us at Curry Gumbo. Be well. Happy watching. Love y'all. Bye.